The Arrowverse, a massive live-action connected superhero universe right on TV. It's crazy what they've accomplished, and when Arrow started in 2012, I don't think anyone could have predicted that 8 years later it would all lead to Crisis on Infinite Earths. But we're so happy it did. Now, over the years, there have been a lot of theories about the Arrowverse. Some came true and others didn't. Some can't even happen anymore because of what happened during Crisis. But that is what we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host, David Raff, and if you hadn't already guessed it, we're going to talk about the Arrowverse. The top 10 scary Arrowverse theories, to be exact. Now, before I begin, I want to clarify something. This list will contain theories that already came true, theories that didn't, and theories that can't happen anymore, but were very cool and interesting to think about anyway. Alright, with all that being said, let's get started. Number 10. Dinah Drake is Laurel's grandmother. Okay, so this one is super interesting and could still technically happen, but it's a long shot, especially if Green Arrow and the Canaries ends up getting picked up, which is set in the future. But hey, maybe that's where it will happen. Okay, so this one has been floating around for a few years, mainly because in the comics, Dinah Drake is the original Black Canary. This theory suggests that Dinah will somehow get trapped in the past since time travel exists in the Arrowverse and will end up starting a family there. But this family would be the Lances. And those granddaughters would be none other than Laurel and Sarah. I mean, that would just be really crazy, and also a little hard to pull off because it would seriously play with the Arrowverse continuity. But who knows? Crisis changed the timeline, so maybe there's a chance that, we're not aware of it yet, and that it actually backs up this theory. Only time will tell. Number 9. Gotham is a Supergirl prequel. Alright, so this theory was also started a few years ago, but it doesn't really work anymore. But we're going to talk about it anyway. So, one fan suggested that the TV show Gotham was actually a prequel to the TV show Supergirl, and they both took place on Earth 38. The reason was that since Supergirl already established that Gotham City exists, and that Batman and Superman have a history of working together, or at least interacting with one another. If Gotham was indeed a prequel, by the time Kara became Supergirl, Bruce would have already been Batman for some time, and already would have met Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. Fans were even saying how cool it would be to have Tyler Hoechlin show up on Gotham as a younger Clark Kent to further establish the connection between the two. Now, of course, this didn't end up happening because the series was created when Gotham was still on the air, and since then, Batman now has a different backstory in the Arrowverse than the one we saw in Gotham. Number 8. Barry Allen is Savitar. Well, this theory actually turned out to be true. In Season 3 of The Flash, Savitar turned out to be none other than Barry Allen. This Barry Allen was a time remnant, or also referred to as a temporal duplicate, which is when Barry goes back in time and asks his past self for help. Barry ended up creating multiple time remnants to fight Savitar, not knowing that one of them would actually become Savitar. But as soon as he was introduced, tons of theories began to pop up. Some said Wally West was Savitar, while others said H.R. Wells was. But there was one theory saying that Barry was, and a lot of fans didn't think that because in what world would Barry actually harm Iris? It actually started when one fan started thinking that when Savitar said, "I am the future Flash," that he was actually saying, "I am Flash from the future." Like literally. It turns out that was right on the money, as Savitar even says that again when Barry confronts him about who he is. That's crazy someone was able to figure that out from the one line and know that it was just a different version of Barry Allen. Number 7. ELSEWORLDS connects to the Dark Knight trilogy. This theory also turned out not to be true, but at the time you can kind of see how, it may have worked. During the crossover ELSEWORLDS, it was revealed that Batman does in fact exist in the Arrowverse, but he has been missing for 3 years, and no one knows why. This led fans to believe that maybe the Dark Knight hung up his cowl for good, which would sync up perfectly to how The Dark Knight Rises ended when Bruce left Gotham for good and started a life with Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman. Of course, this one was always a long shot, but just the thought of seeing Christian Bale's Batman team up with the heroes of the Arrowverse excited fans so much. We still haven't seen Earth 1, or now called Earth Prime's Batman, but we saw a version of Bruce Wayne during Crisis, but who knows if Kevin Conroy will return to be the main Earth Batman. Only time will tell. Number 6. DIGGLE becomes Green Lantern. Fans everywhere were probably all jumping for joy when this theory finally got semi-confirmed during the Arrow series finale. This theory started popping up during the first few seasons of Arrow. There were a ton of Green Lantern Easter eggs, Ferris Airlines, and even someone in a bar during the flashback had a coat with the words Jordan on it, teasing Hal Jordan. Then one day, some people said, oh, maybe his full name is John Diggle Stewart. This theory just kept getting more popular over the years that even the showrunners of Arrow and David Ramsey, who plays Diggle, knew about it. Then, in Arrow Season 7, Diggle's stepfather showed up, and his name just happened to be Roy Stewart, and fans started losing their minds. It now seemed like it wasn't a matter of would it happen, but when. And then, in the Arrow series finale, it did. An artifact fell from the sky right in front of Diggle, and then he approaches, and it's a box, and when he opens it, a green light covers his face. Now, the reason we didn't see the actual ring was because of some of the restrictions DC gives the Arrowverse, but this was all fans needed. Now we're all hoping for Diggle to show up in the new live-action Green Lantern series on HBO Max. Number 5. Kara is a world killer. The world killers were introduced during Supergirl's 3rd season. Now, this theory also didn't really turn out to be true, but if it did, it would have had massive ramifications for Kara going forward. The world killers were created on Krypton to be stronger, faster than any other Kryptonian. They were all sent away before Krypton got destroyed and just lived their lives waiting to be activated. Rain, the main antagonist for Season 3, was a world killer, but people thought that Kara was actually going to turn out to be one as well, since her father was a high-ranking Krypton official, and he could have easily had a hand in making Kara a world killer. I mean, her father was the one that created the Medusa virus, so it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to think that he had a hand in the world killers. Well, apparently, that didn't stop fans from thinking that the Legion of Superheroes would be the ones to break the news to Kara, which would have caused even more conflict between the two, especially Kara and Mon-El. Number 4. Barry founded the Time Masters. This theory doesn't really look like it will happen anymore, but who knows? Maybe somehow it will, but it seemed a lot more plausible a few years ago. So on The Flash, it was revealed that Barry created, the AI known as Gideon, which we see used by the Legends on the Wave Rider. This led many fans to believe that Barry would also go on to be the founder of the Time Masters, the group that Rip Hunter worked for. They were tasked with protecting the timeline, although they ended up being pretty corrupt, so yeah, there's that. Anyways, they thought Barry would have the idea to create them because he would eventually realize how dangerous it is to mess with the timeline, a lesson that he didn't really seem to grasp for a long time. Once he realizes this series suggested that in order for the timeline to stay intact, he would find people to watch over it even long after he's gone, which you can kind of see him doing. But after Crisis and everything that happened with the Time Masters, it seemed like it'll probably never happen. Number 3. The original Trinity died. So this one almost certainly is not happening now. The reason this started was because of Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. Rip Hunter stated that he had seen Men of Steel die and Dark Knights fall, which of course was alluding to Superman and Batman. Because of that, people started to speculate that Superman, Batman, and even Wonder Woman were all a team and ended up getting killed somehow in the future. I mean, the Legends even showed the Themyscira once, so it's not really a big stretch to think that DINAH exists in the Arrowverse. Adding more fuel to the fire was that technically we never saw Superman on Earth 1. He existed on Earth 38 with Kara, but that was it, so people started to think that maybe he got killed off. But now, regardless, that theory didn't end up happening. Even before Crisis, Batman was now confirmed to at least have been around, even if he now is missing. And now, with Earth Prime, Superman is alive and well on the main Earth. I wonder what happened to Earth 1 Superman and Supergirl. Maybe their pods didn't even land on Earth after all. Number 2. Superboy Prime. This one is really exciting and still a possibility since it takes place post-Crisis. Recently, the CW officially greenlit the new show Superman and Lois, which is really exciting. How does Superboy Prime fall into that? Well, let me tell you. So, before Crisis, it was revealed that Lois was pregnant and that her and Clark wanted to raise their child on Argo, the one state that remained of Krypton. That's where they were when the Crisis began, and their baby was born. But after Crisis, it's been revealed that they not only have one, but 2 sons, which not only comes as a surprise to the audience, but Superman as well. The 2 sons have been cast, and they are both teenagers. The speculation began when a fan tweeted out something about Superboy Prime, and one of the actors ended up liking that tweet. The other thing is, why have 2 sons? They must have some sort of plan for them, and Superboy Prime would be something new and fresh for the Arrowverse. Plus, it would be a really good struggle for both Clark and Lois. I, for one, can't wait to see what they do with this show. Number 1. DARKSEID is coming. Yep, this is one of the newest Arrowverse theories floating around, and if it turns out to be true, it would be massive. This one started when they name-dropped the anti-life equation in one of the newest episodes of Supergirl titled The Bottle Episode. After Crisis, a wormhole brought some doppelgangers to Earth Prime, and some of those were other brainiacs. They began getting killed off, and one of them believed it was due to the anti-life equation. Now, it didn't turn out to be true, but just hearing that was enough to get fans super excited. I don't think DARKSEID will be coming anytime soon, but I do think that this could be the next big crossover in a few years. maybe they'll start leading to this the same way they did with Crisis. And although it would be hard for anything to top Crisis, seeing Darkseid and Apocalypse in the Arrowverse would definitely be the thing to come close. Alright, there you have it guys, the top 10 scary Arrowverse theories. What does your list look like? Let us know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Top 10 Nerds so you never miss one nerdy moment. I'm your host, David Raff, and thank you so much for watching.